Today we're going to go over the RPE scale, which is also known as the rate of perceived exertion. So you see RPE. And what this is basically a subjective scale for how you want to gauge how your set went in terms of just your training program. It's on a 1 to 10 scale, 1 being your set was effortless and you could keep on basically doing it all day. It was really, really easy. And 10 being max effort, you cannot do any more reps after that set. So you legitimately, like, your form failed on the last rep and you can't push the weight anymore. You can't do the exercise anymore. In terms of what we want on when you're training, the 7 to 8 range is optimal. And this is just based on the gauge of minimizing the risk of injury, because when you are testing out a max effort, whatever exercise that you're performing, max effort set, it tends to increase your chances of getting injured increases. In addition to that, it is very rare for people to really progress well if they keep on hitting an RPE 10 for every set they do. We highly recommend you to hit an RPE 7 to 8 every single set that you do. Obviously, when you want to progress as we add on weight, as the program goes on, as the weeks goes on, it will go around the range of 8 and 9 because you're just trying to get your central nervous system, you're trying to just get used to the weight, getting used to the exercise of just pushing yourself 1 more rep, 5 more pounds, 1 more set, etc. Like all this stuff of just pushing yourself, it will hit around 8 or 9, but the 10 should be a rare occurrence, and it should not be like every single week thing. It should be only done if you are testing out for something. In terms of just thinking about the scale in itself, 1 through 5 right over here, you shouldn't really be hitting RPE of 1 to 5 because this is around the range of like easy to super easy. So your training should not be like that every single week. Maybe it should be done when we give you a deload, but that's another topic that we will cover in another video. In terms of your usual training, you should be hitting around the higher end of the lower end of the scale, 6 to 10. But as I said, 10 is only when you're testing out. 6 to 8 is probably a good gauge, but the optimal, the best way is just a 7 to 8. So what this means practicality, like what is an RPE 8? An RPE 8 means that you have 2 reps in reserve left before you have muscular failure / form failure. And what that means is that when you are doing your set and completing the set, how many more reps do you think you could do with good form after you have stopped that set in itself? So let's say you do a set of barbell bench press for 135 and you hit 15 reps, and at 15 reps you decide to rack the weight. After you assessed it a little bit after the set was done, that 15 reps felt pretty easy, but at the same time you felt like the fatigue, your muscle fatigue, was setting on, and you probably feel like it's probably an RPE 7 because you felt like there are maybe 3 more good reps, even though you felt like it was a good set and you didn't hit muscular failure, you felt like there were 3 more good reps left before you start failing or your form was compromised. So think about it in terms of this scale is just how many reps left. Another example is that you're doing pull-ups. This is a pretty hard exercise for a lot of people to do who are just not used to the exercise. When you first do it, you're probably going to hit an RPE 8 or 9. That's just simple facts for a lot of people who are not used to pulling up their own weight. In this case, like, you could hit an RPE 8 technically if you just hit 1 rep, because it's in itself, you don't have to hit like 8 reps in order to hit like an RPE 8, even though we do prescribe you to do around the rep range of 8 to 15. If you just do like 1 rep and you feel like you could do 2 more good reps before you hit muscular failure or form failure, then that's an RPE 8. So think about it like that. That's all we are going to cover for the RPE. And if you have any questions, let us know. Just send us a message and we'll clarify any questions. Thanks.